can't believe I'm actually going to talk about this thing. This thing has been the topic of controversy in DDR for at least 20 years. 2 decades. You'd think by now these weird comments and arguments about the bar would be over by now, but for as long as this game still exists, it'll never be over. As a competitive player, I've read it all, seen it all, heard it all. Facebook groups, the DDR subreddit, YouTube comments, even TikTok. It's always been the same thing over and over again. Even 20 years later, people are still complaining till they're blue in the face about players using the bar. Like, let go of the bar. It's cheating. It's against the spirit of the game. You have no skill if you have to resort to using the bar. Bet you can't pass that song without the bar. This doesn't look like dancing at all. And these are all things that I've seen and heard people say. Many like it of a similar nature. At the same time, the more experienced players would always say that only people who haven't played since the early 2000s, the people who haven't played past Extreme, are the ones who would say these things. But here's the thing. 20 years is a long time. There's a lot of time. There's literally a new wave, new generation of players coming in who have never played the old DDR games. They've never played Extreme. They've never played 4th Mix Plus, 3rd Mix, DDR Max 1 and 2, 5th Mix. They don't know the history or have the context for why people would get shamed for using the bar. And there's still so many people out there who had never seen DDR before, who never grew up with it like we did. And they're seeing it for the first time and watching players like us stomping these arrows while holding the rail behind us. And I'm thinking they're either asking themselves, why are they holding the bar in the back? Or, maybe that's how you're supposed to play? Or, wow, they look so stupid. People might not be as inflammatory about it nowadays, but it was really bad in the 2000s. So bad. So bad. That they used to have less than savory, very not okay terms like bar R-wording, or say that they are whoring the bar. What I actually find really funny about people crying about being anti-bar in the early 2000s is how it was entirely a Western sentiment. The Japanese community did not give a single shit about bar or no bar. In fact, the Japanese made fun of Americans on forums all the time for crying about stuff like the bar and speed mods, that it makes the game easier. It's cheating. They can't do anything without them. And yet they dominated the internet rankings. Oni courses, you know, the challenge courses where you couldn't change the mods. The Japanese players playing the game made by a Japanese company. Here comes the Americans who technically shouldn't be able to play this game without bootlegs, trying to tell them how they should or shouldn't play their game. Insane behavior. Now, hopefully this will be the only video about the bar that ever needs to be made. So I guess I'll share what my take is on the topic, though my audience probably will already know what I have to say about it. The main question that probably gets asked the most about this is the bar cheating. The short answer is no. But here's the thing. This is not an opinion. This is not something that can be argued. Here's why. Unless you are Johnny Konami or your name is Yoshihiko Ota, the executive producer of Dance Dance Revolution, you do not make the rules. All games have a set of rules that you must follow. And obviously, breaking the rules of a game to gain an advantage would be cheating. However, not once in the entire history of the game has Konami ever mentioned that using the bar would break any rules. And if you've ever watched any Konami Arcade Championship matches, the Bamani Pro League teams, officially mandated competitions by the creators of the game themselves, every player competing uses the bar. And over 20 years later, if Konami had any problem with people using the bar to play the game, they probably would have said something by now. People have been using the bar as far back as 5th Mix and DDR Max era. When Konami noticed that people started using the bar, their response wasn't, "No, stop doing that. No, that's cheating." You know what they did instead? They made harder content. They likely knew that there wasn't going to be anything they could do to prevent people from doing that, even if they wanted to. In an interview with Tag, one of the music producers for DDR, used to make step charts, and one of them was Healing Vision Angelic Mix. He mentioned that he wrote the chart knowing that people would play it with the bar. And nobody's going to argue against the advantages that come with using the bar, because it obviously helps. Otherwise, why would nearly every competitive player use it? Helps keep your balance, saves energy, it's more efficient movement, allows you to focus better. I'd say the only disadvantages are arguably more restricted movement with turning and arm strain from transferring your weight into your arms. And it's not like you'll instantly become better the moment you start using the bar. Bar technique is still something that needs to be practiced, and your scores will likely tank before they get better after you change the way you play. The best part about having these advantages is that everybody has access to it. Every player can have the same advantage if they choose to use it, and you have the freedom to choose not to use it. Just remember that if you end up in a tournament situation, your opponent chooses to use the bar, but you're too stubborn and think it's cheap and you lose that match, you only have yourself to blame. You don't get awarded extra points for not using the bar. The game doesn't care what you do. The only thing that matters is the score you get at the end. And if you think you're still the better player, even though you lost just because you didn't use the bar, that makes you the textbook definition of a scrub. Lastly, if you think people that mainly play with the bar can't do well without it, you can watch me full combo Legend of Max no bar, or you can watch Hibiki full perfect combo Healing D Vision Challenge no bar. And if you think it looks dumb or whatever, try getting into freestyling or go play Dance Rush. I hear it's cool to play on. I've had enough of yapping about this topic for now. I thought I could make this to serve as a catch-all response to any past, present, and future comments about the bar. And if I've somehow convinced any bar hater out there to reconsider their stance, then cool, I've done my job. But there are those who love to go in the comments section in videos and streams to tell the player, "Oh, let go of the bar. Stop holding the bar. Get off the rail. Blah, blah, cheating, whatever." I believe there's nothing you can say to these type of people to change their minds. They're not interested in the game's history or the culture or what competitive level of DDR looks like. They just want to be able to control what other people do because they don't like what they see. And they can't believe that the way somebody else plays is different from how they play or think they should play. In a lot of cases, the people that are saying these things don't actually play the game. And if they do, they are not playing the same game as us. That may come across as mean or a bit exaggerated, but I believe there's some truth to this, and the people who make those comments are not nice about it anyway. But here's hoping that one day we can all finally keep the bar behind us, because that's where it should be, behind you, the player holding it. Okay, goodbye.